Hi everyone, I'm Andrew Howard, and I travel the world teaching cybersecurity, hacking and artificial intelligence. But today we're not talking cybersecurity, we're talking digital nomad. And I'm here with my friend Leah. Leah, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks.
Excellent. Leah, you've spent about 2 years traveling the world being a digital nomad. We first met in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia at Nomad Capitalist Live. How did you enjoy that?
It was great. The conference was amazing. It was a highlight of my year.
Yeah.
But it was the people that made it. Not so much the presentations, but the people that gathered round, Andrew and his team, amazing. I loved meeting you and everyone there.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good group of people, a very aspirational group of people who wanted to live a better life and have more flexibility. So yeah, I thought it was really good. Did you learn much there?
I learned more from other people
Yes.
than actually at the presentations. It's nice to be amongst my tribe of other passionate people about visas, you know, where to live, what's good weather.
Yeah, it was more than just another passport or another residency permit. It was about the quality of life as well. I really liked the presentation on Turkey. I thought that might be a good option if you needed a second or third passport. Yeah. Are you going back next year?
I want to, yeah. It's very expensive.
I was just going to say that. It's very expensive. I might skip a year myself as well. So cool. Let's talk about this digital nomad lifestyle that you've lived. And you've lived it for about 2 years. So that's awesome. What countries have you visited?
I've spent about roughly 8 months in total over the 2 years in Malaysia. Thailand, I visited 3 times. So just Bangkok, Chiang Mai, where we are. Osaka in Japan, and Cambodia for 3 months.
Excellent. Well, let's talk about your experience in those countries. Let's talk about Cambodia. I've never visited Cambodia. What might it be like for a digital nomad to live there for an extended period of time?
Look into the visa situation before you go. So if you arrive on a tourist visa, it's actually really hard to swap over to different types of visas. So before you go to Cambodia, know how long you want to spend there. Is it 3 months, 6 months, and get the appropriate visas. So we did the research and we went there on a different visa to the tourist. For the life of me, they've got so many, I can't remember it. But it was a smooth process. Customs was good. Thailand's known to be friendly. The people are lovely, but Cambodians are just that bit extra friendly, that bit more kind.
How was the weather?
So we went during a hot season and their hot season is hot. So I grew up in the Middle East, so I'm used to 40 degrees, but that's AC. In the Middle East, everywhere there's AC. Cambodia, still developing. Even in the malls, even these really big malls, the AC is not strong enough. Electricity is very expensive in Cambodia. It's the second most expensive place in Asia. First is Singapore. We love the coffee culture in Cambodia. It's quite like Thailand and Malaysia, but Cambodia's coffee culture is good, except for that the locals go there to hang out. So it's $1 for a coffee, but good luck trying to find a space if it's air-conned, because the locals are there hanging out because it's too expensive at home.
So yeah, speaking about Cambodia, you were telling me the pricing is kind of surprising there. Things are not just cheap as I would have expected.
I'm using against Malaysia and Thailand as benchmarks for cheapness. And eating out is not as cheap if you're eating Western food. Obviously, always local is always the cheapest. But Western food, you're looking at $8, $10, $6 for the cheaper Western meals. Those are like toasts kind of things. So yeah, Cambodia is not as cheap as Thailand and Malaysia for the Western foods.
And you were staying in apartments as well?
Yes, so apartments are actually pretty pricey compared to Thailand and Malaysia. So we normally go for short-term rentals and you're looking at $1,500 a month.
$1,500 a month. That's awesome. So that leads me on to a couple of things. We'll go back to the other countries in a minute, but when you're traveling, you're staying for extended periods of times. Where do you normally find the apartments? Is it serviced apartments? Is it Airbnb? What are you looking for when you're looking for somewhere longer term to stay?
So in Cambodia, it's like Thailand. They've got the service apartment culture. However, to get the best prices, you need a go-between. You need a Cambodian real estate agent or somebody acting on your behalf to get the best prices. Because the same places, you can go walk in you just won't get the good prices.
Okay.
Whereas in Thailand, you can walk into the service apartments, and if you're a good negotiator, you can negotiate it down.
Awesome. So Cambodia, Thailand, and we'll talk about it probably in a minute. Japan as well, service apartments for these 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 month stay. That's what you're looking for. If you're a little bit shorter term, would you recommend something like Airbnb?
I mean, if there was a better alternative out there, Airbnb is literally because their competitors are just rubbish.
Okay.
So we do like to try and use Booking.com.
Booking.com.
But Airbnb is the best alternative.
Okay, cool. But if you're going to be for a few months, service apartments the place to go. Start Googling service apartments.
We would like, because Airbnb, the prices are insane.
Yeah, it's basically daily rate multiplied by days. Yeah, I'd agree with that. So let's talk about Thailand. We're in Chiang Mai right now. I normally don't make videos unless I've been to a location several times. I feel comfortable making a video here in Chiang Mai because I've been to Thailand a few times. What is your experience with Thailand? Where have you stayed in Thailand and how long have you been here?
So Bangkok, I was there for 3 weeks. And Chiang Mai, give or take 2 months. Chiang Mai is, first week was Airbnb, and then we went around looking at serviced apartments, getting the best deal.
Perfect. Yeah, that makes sense. 1 week to get a basis or a hotel or something, a cheap hotel, and then find a serviced apartment.
Yeah.
Now, you've fallen in love with Chiang Mai, you were telling me earlier. I haven't spent that much time here, but I understand. There's a lot of expats, it's a great culture. I can see why the expat community is drawn to Chiang Mai. Why do you like Chiang Mai? What do you think?
The expats that come here are a different type of expat, and they're more chill. They want the relaxed pace of life, and Chiang Mai compared to Bangkok is much more slower pace. Weirdly enough, the expats are friendlier. They're more open. They open their house to you. So a hidden gem of Chiang Mai is the board game culture. And I would say this of every country with expats is if you have like a hobby or an interest you can make friends really fast. So I love board games. So making friends within the board game community is really good and fast here. They're so friendly.
Yeah, I tried to join a Facebook group and I'm going someday for an extended period of time. So yeah, trying to make connection with people is awesome. And I do feel that Chiang Mai is a little bit friendlier than the other places that I've been in Thailand. Even though Thailand is known as the land of smiles, it's very friendly. There is a good, active, young, digital nomad type culture here, whereas other places I've been in Thailand, it's been more of a retired culture. What else do you like about Chiang Mai? You were saying that the coffee culture.
Chiang Mai is pretty good for their coffee. They grow a lot here as well because of the mountains.
Yeah,
So,
and you're telling me the bistro culture is really good as well.
yes, so if you like cheaper Western food, like $5, $4, Chiang Mai is good for that.
The bistros in Chiang Mai, they're everywhere. And they all seem to be excellent quality, so I've noticed that too. And it's funny, I go to other countries and you'll see Western food and it's their interpretation of what they think the Western food is. They don't get it quite right. Just like in the West, we don't get Southeast Asian food quite right, exactly the same thing. But here they get it right.
My favorite dish here is the khao soi.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Yes, khao soi, very famous in northern Thailand. I was at a market yesterday before. I'm gluten-free, so I can't eat khao soi traditionally. But I asked for it with rice noodles and the guy was, yeah, no problem. Yeah, so really friendly. Awesome.
Yeah.
So we've talked about Cambodia, we've talked about Thailand. Let's go on to Malaysia. What were your thoughts on Malaysia, traveling there and living as a digital nomad?
I love Malaysia, but there's also downsides, which is why I'm kind of leaning towards Thailand. But Malaysia, I love the shopping there. It's amazing. Coming from the Middle East, I love malls, and Malaysia has the malls. I do like the choice. You've got both the Eastern, Japanese, Korean type stores, but you've also got the Western American and UK type stores in Malaysia. I really like access to global shopping.
Yeah, my perspective on Malaysia is I expected it to be a lot less developed than Singapore. And I expected it to be smaller than Singapore, completely wrong. Certainly it's a lot larger than Singapore. Maybe less developed, more developing than Singapore, but a lot more choice, I agree with you. There was a little India, there was a Chinatown, it just felt more international and there was more things to do. There was more variety. Singapore is kind of uniform. So yeah, I agree. I actually really enjoyed Kuala Lumpur. It's a place I'd like to go back to. I found it very interesting. I actually prefer it to Singapore.
Yes, KL, the downsides for me is a bit 15-minute cities. You need to choose the correct area that matches your vibe. So it can get a bit boring in KL if you don't want to take 20-minute, 30-minute grabs everywhere to get to a different area, to a different vibe. My favorite's Mont Kiara because there's like a lot of expat community there, so a lot of businesses. I would say the best about KL and Malaysia in general is a strong middle class. They've got money to spend and they want to buy luxuries. They want the trainers, the jackets, the designers. It's really thriving.
How about rent? What's the rent like in Kuala Lumpur compared to, let's say, Thailand or Cambodia?
As a digital nomad, Malaysia's behind the times compared to Thailand and Cambodia. You're stuck to Airbnbs, really. A lot of the culture is no for long-term, for short-term rentals. They want yearlies or two years.
So service apartment, not so easy an option.
No.
That's awesome to know. So let's talk about Japan. What was your perspective about living in Japan as a digital nomad? How long did you spend there?
Spent a month in Osaka. I visited Japan back in 2007. I speak basic beginner Japanese. So I do love Japan as a culture, as a tourist. However, as a digital nomad, it's a completely different experience. Short-term rentals, very difficult. You'd be stuck to service apartments. I went to about 8 different rental agencies, and they're like, no foreigners.
Yeah.
No foreigners.
And that's exactly what I found as well. I would love to actually live for about 6 months in Japan. It's going to be serviced apartments, that's for sure. Private landlords are just not going to rent to you. Japan has introduced a digital nomad type visa, but it doesn't give you access to a driver's license or any identity cards. But it is at least a legal way. And then, you know, talking about the legality of visas, this is a nice intro to that. We've both been around the digital nomad people and the community, and the perspective I've been given from many people is that the countries we've spoke about, all of them actually, the authorities tend to have a blind eye. If you arrive on a visitor visa, on a tourist visa, as long as you're not working for a local company, taking money away from the local economy or local people, if you're doing your IT work for your company abroad, the authorities just tend to have a blind eye. Is that what you've heard? Has that been your perspective?
Yeah, from what I've heard.
Now, we've talked about places that we all think about as being digital nomads, but you have a better perspective or another perspective to bring us. You've lived as a digital nomad in the Middle East as well. Tell us about the Middle East. Tell us about the hidden gems.
So I grew up in the Middle East. I don't speak Arabic though, so I'm pretty much on the same playing field as other Westerners coming to the Middle East. My favorite is Bahrain. My love is Bahrain. A lot of people know Dubai is the first, biggest, flashiest destination, but it's very fake. It's not real Middle East. I've stayed about 1 or 2 days in Oman, and I'm very interested. That would be my next destination in the Middle East to explore, because the vibe I got from Oman was 20 years ago Bahrain, 20 years ago Saudi. And Saudi Arabia, I lived there, I grew up there, so I have family there. It's changed a lot, especially the last 5 years. I can drive as a woman there. It's very modernized now.
And very safe.
Very safe.
Yeah.
Very safe.
I've spent some time in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can walk 2 a.m., 3 a.m., no one's going to bother you.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
if some random person does bother you, very rare, the other local men will step in, and as a lady, I feel safe there.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you spent most of your time as a digital nomad in Bahrain.
Yes.
What's it like? Should people consider it?
So they do have serviced apartments there, but they're only in certain areas. And Jaffair is the main area, but Jaffair is also a bit seedy. It's where all the nightclubs are and things like that. So the type of people it attracts is not the best. But if you get out of Jaffair, because that's where the short-term rentals are, if you get out of Jaffair, Sif and Sar, oh, they're amazing. I would thoroughly recommend. There's new developments in Marissa Beach and Amwaj that a lot of expats can own and buy land there. It's one of the few places in the Middle East that allows you freehold and to buy land.
Awesome. Awesome. So Bahrain definitely on your radar, somewhere that you might consider.
Yeah.
And visa rules, they have multiple different visas there. I believe it's quite complicated, the different visa rules. So do
Yes.
check that out before you go. But once you get there, you can rent a place long term and base yourself for a short period of time and immerse yourself in a completely different culture.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Leah, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for sharing your perspective. I'm sure we'll catch up again sometime again.
Good meeting you.